Hello fellow YouTubers and WoW nerds, this is your boy Blux. We're gonna go over a quick video about legendaries for Mythic Pluses, soloing, and raiding. Now I'm gonna go over Mythic Pluses first because that's where a lot of people are gonna be wanting to push their higher keys, trying to get a higher eye level from their challenger chests every week after reset. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump right in. Chain of Thrain is gonna be your top tier on a 5-tier system. Is going to be tier 1. This is your only tier 1, this is your best, and this is because in Mythic Pluses we're running Shockedon build. I will link the video for that in the description below as well. But we're trying to put out that damage, and this is the best one to do that, and it also increases the healing that we do. So that's why we run Chain of Thrain. For tier 2, we're going to do Cepheus' Secret, which increases movement speed by 10% and increases haste by 2%. Successfully applying a stun or slow or something like that, loss of control effect on an enemy, interrupting an enemy spellcast, or dispelling an ally from a dot or loss control on one of your allies. It increases your movement speed to 70% and your haste to 25% for 10 seconds. And it can happen every 30 seconds. In a Mythic Plus, you can really keep this up a lot of the time because there's so much you can do. You can, CC an enemy easily and quick. You can dispel your allies quite often, depending on what, Mythic Plus you're running, what dungeon it is. So there's always something to do to keep this up quite a bit, so you're getting a lot of effect out of it. That's tier 2. The second one in tier 2 is going to be your Valen's Future Sight. This is to increase your healing. If you're overhealing a lot, it'll generate 50% of the overhealing to someone who can use it, so that's also going to be very good. This is really just for the stats that it gives and the healing that you still need to have in Mythic Plus runs. That's why we use it in Mythic Pluses. The third one is actually a DPS trinket for tier 2 Retribution, and it's Kill Jaden's Burning Wish. Again, Mythic Pluses, we're trying to pump out the damage as well with our DPS to push it faster to get that time limit made. We gotta beat the time limit to get the chest, to get the better gear. So that's why this is also tier 2. Tier 3, let me go back to Holy. Tier 3, we've got Pride, which you can see on the screen has very, very good stats. It has every 30 seconds you can heal back 25% of your health. Essentially, it's a shield for 25% of your health every 30 seconds. So it's a protector to you to keep you alive longer. That's why this is also very good for raiding. So keep that in mind. If you have it, it's not bad at all. It's actually very good. So don't just like throw it to the wind or whatever. Throw it in your bank and forget about it, let it collect dust. Keep it there. Remember, it's good. That's tier 3. The next one, tier 3, is a Tyr's Hand of Faith. Reduces the cooldown of lay on hands by 70%. This is really kind of decent because you will be using lay on hands a fair amount if you really watch it. You can use lay on hands a fair amount to save your tank or save a DPS. It's an instant, pretty much full health heal. I don't use it. I don't really see the point in it myself, but it is still good. It is still viable to use. That's why it's tier 3. The next one in tier 3 is Marad's Dying Breath. It used to be tier 1 and it used to be tier 1 before 7.25 came out. As of 7.25, it is now tier 3 because there's better legendaries out there. They've done more testing on it, and this has been dropped because we don't really need it as much. But it's still good. If you have it, still viable for Mythic Pluses. Healing with Light of Dawn causes your next Light of the Martyr to also heal your Beacon of Light. Each ally healed increases Light of the Martyr by 10%. So if you heal all 5 people with your Light of Dawn, your Light of the Martyr is going to be 50% stronger, which is essentially a flash of light. But when you Holy Shock, Confusion, Flash of Light, it's essentially that, but it's an instant heal rather than a cast over 1.5 second heal. So that's very good. Tier 4, now we're getting into the ones that really you don't want to use really ever. Like Uther's Guard's pretty much garbage because you can't use it effectively. Your Blessings have 50% increased duration and heal the target 15% of their maximum health. Your Blessings are really kind of on a fairly long cooldown except for Freedom. All your others are pretty long cooldowns, like Sacrifice and Protection. Sacrifice right there, 2 minutes. Protection is 4 minutes. Freedom is the only other one that you can really use effectively, but there's not that much slow or anything like that. You can effectively use this on to make the most out of Uther's Guard. It's not good. Soul of the High Lord, the new legendary, isn't really that good for Mythic Pluses because it's RNG. With Mythic Pluses, you don't need RNG, you need stability. Same with raiding, because it can end up getting somebody killed. And then you got the Topless Tower. Light of Dawn has a 10% chance to grant you Avenging Wrath for 8 seconds. Again, this is an RNG based legendary. It's 10% for 8 seconds. It's really not worth it. It doesn't proc enough. It doesn't last long enough when it does proc. You really don't need it at all. Then you got, so that's all tier 4. We'll do tier 5. Tier 5, you got Crown Jewel of the Silver Moon. I personally don't agree with that. I think it's higher up there, but you don't really need that much increase to your healing. If you do need it, wear it. It's really not that bad. I think it's closer to tier 2, tier 3. But that's only if you need that extra healing. If the tank or the DPS are taking a lot of damage and you just can't seem to keep them up, throw that on, you'll be fine. Agrimar Stride, definitely tier 5, simply for the fact it doesn't give you anything. Not really. It increases your movement speed by 75% on whichever secondary stat is highest, which is going to be your crit, should be. So it's just not, you don't need it. It doesn't do anything. And then your shoulders, you're really not going to use that. You don't need it in any way, shape, or form for Mythic Plus. I've heard people say, yeah, it's really good for Mythic Plus. No, it's actually not good at all. It's not really even that good for Tumor Sargeras rating anymore, because your beacons are going to be doing so much over healing. And shoulders for Mythic Pluses, you don't need it. Like, you're already doing a lot of over healing, you're doing a lot of single target healing, and you don't actually have a sustained beacon most of the time. You're not going to be running a sustained beacon, and that's in my other video for Mythic Plus healing guide for Shakaden, which again will be in the description down below. So that's for Mythic Plus. It's for rating. You've got four tier 1, so if you get any of these, you'll be fine. You got Crown Jewel of the Silver Moon, Soul of the High Lord, Velen's Future Sight, and Pride S. Pride S is for progression. It gives you a lot of your stats you need, plus shields you, so it's going to heal. You're going to stay alive longer. Crown Jewel of the Silver Moon, you're going to need that extra healing quite often, so Judgment all the time. Soul of the High Lord, people have been getting good use out of it. I personally don't care for it. Again, RNG. Velen's Future Sight, I love it. I'm running Velen's Future Sight and Crown Jewel of the Silver Moon, and there's my eye level. But personally, I like these two in combination because you put them up together, that's 30% increased healing. If you're, I mean, you can get stupid crazy high numbers with this stuff. For tier 2, for raiding, again, Marad's Dying Breath. If you don't have any of the tier 1 pieces, you can run Marad's Dying Breath. You'll get a good amount of healing. I used to run it before I got the ring and the trinket. So it's definitely not bad. Chain of Thrain, it's good for an increase to your healing. Again, it increases healing done by 25% and damage done by 10%, so you can help do a little bit more DPS. For tier 3, you've got Sephi's Secret. It's kind of a situational type thing. You can run it if you need the crit, in my opinion. If you don't need the crit, don't use it. Again, my opinion. There are some boss fights you probably can use it where there's just a whole bunch of ads and you're CCing them, or they're putting slow effects or a stun on your team members, like Mistress. Probably be just fine in there. You can get the movement speed and the haste. I still wouldn't run it myself though. Going along with tier 3, hands. You really don't need hands that much. The tiers, the Hand of Faith, you don't need it that much in a raid environment. It's just not really good. The Topless Tower, I've heard good and bad things. I don't have it. I don't even want it, to be totally honest. Simply because the RNG, it's a very low proc chance. It doesn't last that long. I don't want it. And the shoulders, tier 3, they used to be tier 1 and tier 2, like tier 1.5. They were really good in Nighthold. With Tomb, our force hit isn't really gonna be that good with these shoulders. You're gonna do way too much overhealing with your Beacon of Faith or Beacon of Lightbringer even. It's too much overhealing. You're gonna be wasting a lot of mana. Uther's Guard and Agrimar's Stride are the two most useless for raiding. They're in tier 4. Agrimar's Stride, again, absolute garbage anyways. And Uther's Guard, again, same problem with these as in Mythic Pluses. The blessings that it is connected to is not good for any reason. They're too long of a cooldown. They're not sustainable to actually get the most effect out of it. So that's why. Now for solo play, if you're just like leveling as a holy paladin, or you're doing some world quests as a holy paladin for whatever reason, I would use Prada's Chain of Thrain. Chain for the damage on your wings, which is really what you're going to be using it for. Prada's to protect you, to keep you alive longer in case you get ganked or you get a big mob that you can't deal with. It'll help keep you alive. So that's my guide for legendaries for Mythic Plus and raiding and solo play. If you have any questions, like, comment below, subscribe if you like the video. If you dislike it, hit that thumbs down button and tell me why. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or you can tell me how I can improve, let me know in the comments and I'll try to do it for next video. So until next time, guys, bye.